comments anyway in here.
All right. So it might be on.
Hopefully that's improved things. Is the quality any better?
It should be back on here. Hopefully we're back up. Live now. Yeah, okay, right. We'll probably lose people because they have to move over.
Okay. So hopefully that's better quality. And now you've got a delay.
Yeah.
Right, so we are live again.
Yes, it's third time lucky. Sorry for that, everyone.
Right.
Had copious technical difficulties tonight. Here we go. We're on now.
Yes. 7:20 perfect, says Jack Russell.
Great.
Are you exited? I think he means excited for the 2 races in Silverstone. Well, I'm not sure if any photographers will be allowed at the races. I'm not sure if there are photographers, whether it will be all photographers. I'm not sure whether... Look, I can get out of Australia, no problem at all, but if I have to come back, I have to do some quarantining. There's also talk, of course, of quarantining into Britain. So I know that Daniel Ricciardo he'll have to go to Britain at some point. Now, if he goes to Austria to race first, does he have to do any quarantining when he goes to Britain? We don't know. It's all up in the air. So in answer to your question, sir or madam, I'm excited to see some racing. And ideally, I want to be there when it happens, because I think it would be a remarkable thing to be on the spot when they have their first race behind closed doors. And I thought I was going to see that in Bahrain, but that didn't actually happen. What are my predictions for the season, Finn? Oh, who knows? I haven't got any predictions. I don't think we'll see all races. There you go. I think we're going to probably have some setbacks at some point. Maybe some countries will have outbreaks of COVID, and then bang, their intention to run a race is suddenly out of question, and we can't race. So it'll be ever-changing. What do you think of Kevin Magnussen, both on and off track? I haven't had a great deal to do with Kevin. His beautiful hair. I do happen to know that he is not that excited about all the celebrity side of F1 and the fact that everybody wants to meet him being a driver. He just doesn't get it. And I think that's a nice thing. He just wants to do the racing, a little bit like Kimi, I guess. But I did sit next to him on a plane for a little bit one flight. Polite guy. I just don't know that much about him. I've not really had the opportunity. I know a lot more about Roman in the Haas team, but yeah, an answer to your question. Thank you for that question too. Andy Essex, do I think Mercedes will swap Bottas and Russell around for 2021? I don't know. I have no reason to think they would. I know that George is a pretty good racer. Is he any better than Valtteri? I don't know. What do you think? Of course, it's all wank till it's in the bank. That's what they say. How much earlier do you find out about the releases? Ferrari are great. We get the Ferrari releases the moment everybody gets it. And I actually got it before they announced it on their own social media sites. Because I remember putting that picture up of Carlos in the Ferrari outfit, and a couple of people saying, oh, what's your source? How do you know this? And I'm thinking, well, I got the press release. And I didn't have time to look around on other social media to find out, but I thought everybody would have had it, because I probably put it up a minute after press release, because it was all ready to go. You just press a button. Why is no one talking about the fact that McLaren is getting a new Mercedes engine, says Cinch Music. I'm clueless. I can't help you on that, I'm afraid. Vettel to Mercedes. Wouldn't that be great?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think that would be lovely to see him in a car that could win every race. Imagine the fireworks between him and Lewis, assuming that Lewis is going to stay there, and I imagine he will. I think he'd want to be going to a lesser team, and he's pretty much at the top right now. Right, what else are we going to pick here?
I think it's also worth thanking all 99 of the people that were on the old stream for coming back to the new one.
Thank you. And if you haven't had a look yet, I did an interesting interview with Tomo F1. I did it about a week and a half ago, and I sat up here, and we talked for 2 hours, which is a heck of a long interview, and I actually recorded my side on my camera and sent him the vision, which he cut up, and it went up yesterday. It's an hour and 12 minutes, 72 minutes of chat, and yeah, I thought he did a great job of editing it, and it looks good, sounds good, and I think that's important if you're looking at stuff, and that's why when you mentioned before, whoever it was mentioned that it only at 480, yeah, we don't want you seeing that. We want you to see good quality stuff because you've invested some good amount of time in this, and of course, if you want to jump the queue here, get on to
Super Chat.
Super Chat. Now, we haven't seen Laxwe. He would normally do that for me. Laxwe is a chap from Sweden, where they've had some dramas. Kim's Kisses says Arush. Arush, where are you from, Arush? Tell us. I have to go. Thank you for the stream, says
That's
Arun. Is she the young girl that does
She's
your
a
graphics?
regular. Yeah, she's great.
She's very talented.
She's very good.
Very talented. We're having you use handheld mics because it's a bit echoey in this room.
It is very.
Enjoying your YouTube, says Sean Maple. Yeah, thank you for that. I think I'm going to do, well, I think I might even invest 4 or 5 hours tomorrow in a video about Fernando Alonso going to Renault, because I think that's just getting more and more legs, as a few people have contacted me today and late last night, and I think it's worth having that video done in the event that he does go there and the announcement's made, because as I said before, you want to be up quickly with this sort of stuff. Nice scarf. Thank you, Momo, which I gather is that short for Muhammad? From Scotland. Well, this is a beautiful woolen scarf of my wife's, and I know you have some lovely woolen merchandise, apparel out of Scotland, as we do here. When is the scarf collection tour coming? I've done that. I've done a scarf collection.
At the end of a video. It's at the end of a video.
Oh, and the other thing I'm doing now at the end of my videos, is putting a little outtake at the end to prompt you to stay right to the very end of each video. Can you do a resume of all this pilot's moving? Yeah, when they're all finished.
Right, drivers, pilots was confused. Yeah, yes. Gotcha.
Is a F1 picture book in the works? Now, thank you, Donnie, because I was going to talk about this, but you've prompted me, and so it gives me an entree into it. I'm actually doing, and have done, and sent to a number of drivers, some photo books. And the beauty of this little project is that you can buy these photo books, and they're printed on demand. Now, it's not the cheapest way to do it, but it means that if only 10 people buy the book, I only print 10 copies, and they're sent direct from the printer to you. Now, I'm going to announce this. I'm going to put it up probably in a week and a half, maybe a week. I'm just waiting on some other copies of other books I've done to come here so I can get some promotional collateral. But you will be able to buy photo books. They're 8 inches by 8 inches, beautiful quality, sent direct to you. And I've already done Lando, I've done Valtteri, Pierre, Charles, Seb, Lewis, and a couple more. So if you have a favourite driver and you're looking for a gift for yourself or for somebody else who likes F1, you will love these books. And the other thing I will do is after each race, I will do a book for that race. So it'll be the German Grand Prix 2020. Looks like we might even have a German GP. German GP 2020. It'll be advertised on the night of the race, and the books will be able to, because I will produce the artwork that night, and the next day they will be printed, and the day after that they'll be sent to you via courier. So within 2 weeks or so of a race, you'll be able to buy a photo book of that particular race. 25 odd great photos from that race.
Not buy, you'll be able to buy it the day of the race, but you won't have it in your hands until 2 weeks after.
Correct.
Important to add. And Ellie asked if there'll be a Daniel one, and Kim was just saying there'll be a one for every driver and pretty much anything they want.
Except
won't they?
Nicholas Latifi. There'll be no Nicholas Latifi book. And not because I don't like the man, it's just that I don't know. I think I've only got 3 series of photos of Nicholas and maybe 5 shots of him in a car. So until I get more collateral for Nicholas, that book is going to be a very boring book. But everyone else is fine. And then I may even do books for other people that I have lots of photos of. But yeah, you'll be able to see them on kimellman.com and order them. And I think it's a very exciting project. I'll be very keen to see how it goes. Justin French, what have you written? I always
I'll move on.
Yes.
Joe wants to know where you'll get the books from.
I will get the book from.
Where they will get the books from.
kimellman.com. You'll see them advertised in every single post on my Instagram page. And you just simply go to kimellman.com. You'll go to order a driver photograph book, and you'll click on the man that you like. Maybe one day it'll be a woman as well. And just press the button. And there may even be an opportunity down the track if you've got extra dollars and you want to customize it. And let's say you want Daniel Ricciardo. If we do a Daniel book, you might say, well, I want that picture there that you took on the 19th. I want that on the cover. Easy to do. Now, you can't do that when you go and produce one book that everybody has to have. Effectively, it is possible to have every book totally unique and individual. So I'm very keen to see what the drivers say that I've sent it to, because I think it's a remarkable thing that I found someone that can do this so well. Anyway, Justin French had quite a long question. And by the way, jump into Super Chat if you want to get past, because as you can see, I've been talking for a heck of a long time and 138 people are here, and I've only just seen Justin's comment. Watching all the way from Weybridge in Surrey in the UK, what are your thoughts on e-racing? As an older gentleman, I don't get it and don't want to. Bring back real life racing. E-racing, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? There's nothing better. In fact, there's nothing at all on offer. So at least you get to see the drivers. And look, I think younger people totally love it.
Yeah.
And the graphics.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good fun.
But I think, imagine if you could get a camera in a race car and hear Charles and see him talk and see his face. But of course you can't, because he's got a helmet on. He's got a visor down. So this is what you do get when you get this particular form of racing.
And I think the plus side of it is it's not as serious. So everyone has a little bit more fun. At least that's what I enjoy about it personally. I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you've raced against Callum, or you haven't. Have you done that yet?
Oh, I tried to drive with him the other day, but we had a bunch of problems. But yeah.
Okay.
That sucks.
Now, Calhorius, can you make some 3840 by 1080p wallpapers of some of your shots? Now, that is going to come as part of my YouTube membership, and I just haven't clicked the button on the membership yet. So you will hear that. If you're a member, you will get those free of charge. But I think
3840 is not HD. It's 2 screens, but still possible. You just take a picture and crop it.
Yeah. I've got the artwork. Someone else can do the technical side of things. Any other good questions you've seen here? Tyler's latest occupation, says
Spyro. I've been driving with Spyro a little bit. He's a nice guy who's in Pakistan at the moment.
Yeah.
Who goes to uni in the
Lahore?
US.
Is he in Lahore? Oh.
I don't know. He said he hasn't left the house though in a while. So, yeah.
Now, Ghost 610 tells me, and I'd like to know how you got this information, said that Daniel's being announced as joining before Carlos leaving was part of the contract deal. I would add the source in comments. Okay, do that. Yeah, I just thought that was so odd that you would do that. Would you do any books or race series or anything on drivers not yet in F1 like F4? No, I don't have any photos of anyone really. I've got a few F2 guys, but it's pretty much all F1, my friend. Oh, in answer to somebody's question here, what's Lando Norris up to? I just had a chat with his trainer a little while ago, and you might have seen John Malvin as one of my posts on Instagram today. I do a driver and their trainer every day at 2:11 a.m. That post goes up. Not that I wake up for that, it's just scheduled. And I asked John what he was up to, and he said he's working harder than ever. Training is going well. The time off has given us time to address things we may have taken years to work through over a normal season. So really good from that aspect. He says he's actually really enjoying it from that perspective. Lando is itching to get back. And you've got to think that every driver is keen to get back. A, because they love the sport, and B, They want to start earning some money because they've all been forced to cop a fair whack in the back pocket, I'd suggest. And John says, making our plans for return to play now, so exciting times, from John Melbourne. He's a good man too. What's his other message? Yeah. Other questions you've got? What do you got there?
Very quickly, I've seen Sean Maple write 3 or 4 times asking about the intro to your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And he's asking who's done them, and I did it for him.
Did you put him up to that? Yeah, maybe? No?
No, I did not.
He's not a mate of yours?
No, he's not.
Right.
There are lots of questions, though. Lots more than can be caught up with.
Laxwe, you need to get on here and stump up some dollars in Super Chat so that I can answer your question. When will Renault announce the future driver lineup for 2021? I don't know. I think this week. And I'm going to... I think it'll be Fernando, funnily enough. But who knows? Do you have any practice tips for a beginner car photographer? Yes. Get down to the freeway and just practice panning. Watch some of my videos. You're where I was at one point, and every photographer that shoots car racing is where you are right now, at some point in their career. It's just the things that I have really been grateful to hear from good photographers who've helped me, taken me under their wing. It's all about the background. The cars stay the same. They're the same every race for a whole season. So you've got to look at the background. No toilets, no public toilets, no cranes, no shitty looking fences, no marshals. You've got to look for opportunities to shoot great angles. And often that means foregoing spots, and oftentimes I'll walk from A to B and then I'll stop it halfway along and try a shot, and then 3/4 of the way and I think, what am I wasting my time for? I should have just gone B. I know where I was going. I know that's a good shot. So there's a level of discipline that is sometimes hard to get your head around. That's what I've certainly found. Will you make a book for the Vietnam GP? Any race that I go to, a book will be available straight after the event. So let's hope I get to some events this year. Do you think the Ricardo Norris bromance will be as good as it's said to be? Can you... Oh, I can pull this picture up. Yeah, I think it will be...
However...
Yeah.
You can.
You find it.
I have to make the screen that shows both. It'll take me 2 seconds, but...
Yeah. I could just do it on this. I think it would be a stunning partnership. This is the one. Should be a bit of fun. This is the one here. Will that focus?
Yeah, I'm going to just make the screen. Everyone will have to be patient for 2 seconds.
But anyway, Tyler very cleverly took the head off Daniel from another photo and put it on. Because they are good fun people, I think you'll find that Lando this year will be a little more serious, not quite as joyful. I think he will work on that. He certainly has a marvellous personality and great for corporate type events, but as he gets into his second year, I did love his post today. You probably saw it if you're an F1 fan on Instagram, where he put a picture of him sitting in Barcelona in the paddock, not the paddock in pit lane, where he says, in case you missed it, I'll still be driving a McLaren in 2021, which was a funny, sharp post, I thought, on behalf of him. Do you want me to find this photo?
Do it?
Yeah, you find it.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm going to go black for 2 seconds.
Once you go black, you never go back. Has that worked?
I'm going to add a display. You can keep talking while I do this.
Yeah. Now, I'm interested to know, 145 people, that's a good roll-up, and indeed, thank you very much for all of that. Actually, I've given away one of these books already, or I will tomorrow on my latest post this afternoon, Australian time, where if you put down an answer, you go into the draw to win one of those photo books. So, that'll be on the way to someone. If F1 goes ahead in Austria, would you take some of me in Formula 4 support race? I'd also race with Tyler if he wants online, says Christian Lester. Well, Formula 4, are you racing on that car? That's interesting. Because that means that there's just more and more people at these events, which are probably going to end up at 2,000 to 3,000 people. I don't know whether I'd get out for an F4 event. Normally, if you're racing, there's other stuff happening. So I will bear that in mind, but no guarantees at this early date, and let's hope I get there in July.
Also, Christian, join our Discord server. Go over to my Twitch and join our Discord, or someone will drop the Discord for you and let's chat, because I would like to drive with you.
I see the fishing trip didn't go well. What's that? Jack Russell, I've completely bamboozled by that comment. Do you think you guys will be able to I think he means go to the races to shoot? Says Ark. Oh, I don't know. No one's given me any indication. In fact, a couple of photographers have said that they don't think there'll be any racing this year. A couple have said, we don't know whether we're going to get invited, and there's some pretty prominent photographers with much bigger audiences than me. It's going to be interesting. If I can get there, I'm going. I don't want to miss it for one bit. I think it's going to be something special. How do your logistics work going from race to race? I'm currently applying for mechanical engineering with intent on working for a team, but going from race to race seems quite tiresome. Yes, it's tiresome, all right. And if we end up doing, I don't know, 18 races in 5 months, that's going to be even more tiring than normal, because normally you do 2 races and have a weekend off, and 1 race and a weekend off, and then 2, but it looks like you're going to have 3 races and then a weekend off, and then 3 races and then a weekend off. And I don't even know whether those races are going to be 4-day events or 2-day events or 3. And I don't think at this stage F1 can go and, I guess, comment about that yet. Things must be so fluid, changing by the second, that I don't envy their job. It's certainly a challenge. Rightio, looking for some more questions here.
Very quickly, where did you save that picture on your computer?
I'll just send it to you.
It's easier sometimes. Christian, just add me on Instagram and DM me. That's easier, I guess. I'm Tyler Ruman, very easy to find.
I don't know where that picture is, mate. Okay. Why don't you just put up my Instagram for you?
Avery asked how many scarves you have, and that is something that is talked about.
I can't answer that because you'll have to go and watch the video that Tomo F1 did, because that is one of the questions that could end up winning you a... Actually, no. Go on.
I thought you said a book.
A book, yeah.
Didn't you put that in the caption?
Yeah, it is a book, but that question is no longer being asked. I've changed that question to another one. I did happen to laugh, and I'll go back to Instagram, because I put a picture up of Linda Morselli. Now, those of you who follow F1 and Fernando would know that Linda Morselli is Fernando's girlfriend. And I said, do you think we'll see her back in the paddock? And then I got this Geordie the Manic said, while I appreciate your feed, I mainly follow you for your photos. Recently, your post has been appearing more recently, and whilst I like fun, speculation really annoys me. Please let me know if you will continue to post speculative content so that I can unfollow for future, or limit your posts. Well, the comments that have come back on that have been absolutely gold. All in my favour, I think. Yeah, because my response was, who knows what the future holds? But then we get people chiming in, with maybe just look at the pretty photos then. I look forward to your post more. Oh, that's a compliment. If you don't like speculative posts, just swipe over it. You don't have to read it. Just ignore it. Some other stuff. I enjoy speculative posts. Rumours are a part of F1, and it makes the guessing game more fun, says Candace. So you want Kim Elmer to speculate as to what he might want to do in future with regards to his posts. Now, so thank you.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. I found this post, if you want to show it.
Just before you do that. And the other thing I always think when I read comments like that, I think, oh, well, you can have a full refund for what you paid. Oh, hang on, you didn't pay anything. That's right, you're getting all this for free and you're not happy. So, we don't take too much stock of what's being said. Now, that picture... Show that picture, please, Tyler.
Okay, here we go, everyone. Let's hope it works. And
Yeah. Okay.
There we
so
go.
I thought this was quite a funny picture. And if you're a eye for detail person, you'll notice that Daniel's hat has McLaren the right way, but his shirt, which is a mirror of Lando, has his shirt with all the logos back to front. So,
Yes.
That did all right, that picture.
There you go.
That post. I don't know whether I should do something for my 100,000th follower, because that will be in 26 days. Be interesting. Yeah, I'll do something for that, although I have to be, if it's at 3 a.m. when my 100,000th follower rolls over, and I gather I can see their name, can't I? You can see them as they come up. Yeah, I have to hang around for that. Other questions that you may have, and remember, if you want to jump the queue, get onto Super Chat.
I'm glad you love that picture, EC. It took me longer than my Photoshops I usually do for him, because I wanted to get the McLaren on the hat.
And then I did this picture here of...
Do you want me to pop it up
No,
here?
it's just Fernando. You can find it on my Instagram page. I was on the beach, not Fernando, Daniel. I was on the beach
Right
at the
here.
time, and I really didn't expect Daniel's announcement to come first. So I didn't have that picture ready. I had the other one ready, and my wife had to do this and go and get some software to allow me to put the It's Official on there so it looked good. And then only afterwards did we realise that we hadn't paid the $2.99, so we had to have created by text art.
I was going to say, you could have just gone onto the Instagram stories and screenshotted it.
Well, I panicked because I was taken by surprise. Now, we've got Tom McCluskey, who's just sent me a note here, and maybe Tom is watching. Tom is Tomo F1. He says, I'm not going to read that to you. It's very hard to read and talk at the same time.
It is rather difficult.
That's a real skill. Do you think Aston Martin will be competitive in 2021? Finn? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to go, whatever you think, I'm going to go with that. If you ask me about a photograph or something to do with tracks, I'm good with that. But predicting what's going to happen in the future, not much chop at that. Although I did all right last week, didn't I? I got Carlos and Daniel. And it was funny, someone said, we're going to go with whatever you say. You got two right. I said, you can pick two winners easily. You can't pick every winner, though. So we'll see what happens this week. Any other good comments there? Kim, did Tomo F1 reach out? I hate reach out. He contacted me. Yes, he contacted me. He didn't reach out. He contacted me. And I was happy to do it. And there was a funny story, actually, because I was up here in this music room and I said to Tyler, this guy wants to do a podcast with me. And he said, who is it? And I said, Tomo F1. He said, he's good. Yeah, he's growing faster than you. You want to do his. So I thought, all right, well, I'll do it. Yeah, so he's gone very well. I think he started later than me and has trumped me very quickly. Lee Thompson is in the United States of America somewhere. I'm keen to find out where. Do I think McLaren will be on the podium more than once this year? I don't know how fast their car is. I don't know.
Don't they have the Mercedes engine? Isn't that what the talk is? So surely.
That's next year.
Oh, this year.
That's next year. I don't know, but I really want to see Lando up there. I'd love to see that. Remember that? Yeah, he's a good chance, isn't he? With a bit of luck, he could be there. And of course, Carlos beat him to it last year and didn't get to stand on the podium with the other two, but he did get to stand on the podium way after dark. And unfortunately for that race, for me, I think I'd actually left the track because I thought, nothing's happening here. I'll go back to the hotel and edit. And I missed all that. I was hanging around the back of the McLaren garage at the time, Lee, and also the hospitality suite in Brazil when all this was going on. There was a huge media throng, and we're all waiting to hear what's going on. But then Pierre Gasly came back from his press commitments, and he started jumping around with all the team, and I got those photos, and then I thought, that's enough. I'll go home and edit from the hotel. So thank you, Lee, from wherever you are.
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle.
And
on the west coast. No, Washington.
Yeah, Seattle, Washington.
Washington State, yes, on the west coast, where it rains a lot, I'm told. What else? Any questions that we should be looking at?
Well,
Liam O'Donnell. Now, Liam is typing in capitals, which is really poor form, Liam. I've taught you better. Liam works for me at Messages on Hold in Perth. What does he say? I told you about Tomo F1 first. Did you really? Did you tell me about him? Okay, Liam. Hopefully we'll see you back at Messages on Hold when our office opens in early June. I'm looking forward to getting back to the office. What else have we got? Tyler, pick us a question, something interesting.
Rob Graham wants to know what your most prized picture is.
That I've taken or that I've got here? I'll answer both questions. Yeah. Well, car picture is Daniel in Germany with the spray coming off his tyres. Or one of the... can I find this, Tyler?
What do you need?
Back here. The Monaco Tunnel. Lewis coming out of the Monaco Tunnel is also a very precious photo for me. It's just perfect, absolutely perfect. I would have loved to have shot this in my first year, and the fact that I've shot it in my third, there's spelling error in that.
Lewis.
No.
Tunnel?
No, that's Lewis.
Can't see it from back here. You'll have to
Go back.
You've got your keyboard there.
Yeah. Lewis. Now, I don't know whether I've got the right keywords on this. I do.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let me
You do that.
switch the screen.
So this is you'd probably know the one I'm talking about with Daniel and the spray coming off, coming around onto the grid, but this particular photo here, I quite adore. Are we in that shot for the people?
Yeah, that's us in the bottom. I can get rid of us though.
Yeah, so have a look at that in a second here. But the my people photo, I do like the shots of Nico giving his girlfriend a hug after the last race of last year. That strikes a chord. I like the shot of Charles Leclerc hugging Antoine Hubert's mum on the track on the Sunday after Antoine died on that crash on the Saturday. What else comes to mind? I quite like the shot of Lando with the reflection in the water in Mexico. So there are a couple that come to mind, but I take a lot. And if I flick through them, I'd probably find others that I like equally as much. But thank you for your interest in the photographs that I take. Got another question because it's very hard for me to read that over there.
I can bring it like that. Does that?
No, you can put it over here.
Does that help?
Oh, it's even better.
Okay, I can put them there. Have them here. I'll be right back. Just have to go check something. Now, if I go and you need to cut between stuff, you click on those things. Just where it says there.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be right back, everyone. Sorry.
Okay. I'm going to pick a couple of questions here. How does it feel when you get the perfect shot? Pretty bloody good, Rob. As you can well imagine. You'd be a bit of a dead shit, I think, if you got the perfect shot and you weren't excited about it. Because I tell you, there's a lot of crap shots that get taken. A lot of nothing. There's a lot of hoping, like cars going past and just boring shots, hoping for something to happen. And occasionally I'll take a photo and I will think nothing of it. And then I get back to the media centre and I'll start editing, and then I'll realise that perhaps a car has had an accident and something's happened on the car, and I'll go, I wonder if I got that. And you're looking close and you can see a front wing missing or something sticking out the back. And that's always a real buzz when you don't think that you've got a shot worth looking at, and then suddenly it becomes valuable. There was something else that just twigged there. Yeah, I didn't realise I had a shot of Valtteri Bottas's dad, and I was doing this drivers and dads. And then I asked somebody in F1 a question. They said, no, his dad was behind him at a certain celebration. And I went back and had a look, and I thought, that's his dad there. And it's happened a couple of times in the last week where I didn't think I had a photo of, might have been a girlfriend of one of the drivers or one of the team people. And then I realised, yeah, that's her. I did have photos. What do I like here? What is your favourite night race in terms of good pictures? Bahrain, Singapore, Abu Dhabi. I like Abu Dhabi. I don't like Singapore. It's very hard to get around. It's exceedingly hot. And we work quite late into the night. Bahrain, it's an ordinary track, not much in terms of crowd, and I don't like the city. It just seems to be a little soulless, a little bit like Shanghai where we stay out near the track. So Abu Dhabi is great because it's a dusk race, so we're not there until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. The accommodation around the area is good value and beautiful and quite luxurious. And just in general, you get that dusk time, and there's one particular shot that I love, and I won't bother or attempt to try and find this photo while Tyler's not here in case I bugger things up. But it's when the cars come out of pit lane, they go down a decline and they go underneath the track. At that point, if the sky is orange, which it often is, not all the time, but often, and we are down the bottom, and it's during... You wouldn't do it during the event because there's this cable or cables that run through the shot which take the camera that runs along pit lane. So you don't want to do it while the event's on. But as soon as the event's finished, they take that down. Then we have 2 or 3 days of post-season testing. And there's a great opportunity there to take that shot with no crap above it. So it's a clean background, orange sky, and it's only for about 12 minutes, 15 minutes tops, and you have to hope that the cars come down that hill at that particular time. Remember, there's only 10 cars during testing, there's not 20, there's only 10, and they have to have come back to the pits, done something, and then go out again. So there's an element of luck, I can promise you. Typically, says Steph, when you photograph at the circuits, is it crowded with other photographers as well trying to get similar shots? Wonder how the experience will be at closed races. Right, really good question, and 2 things come to mind, Steph. Thanks for asking that, and if you want to jump the queue, get on to Super Chat. Steph, I'll go to the second part. How will the... What I find myself thinking, if we're social distancing, there's no way at Parc Fermé or Podium that you can have 100 photographers because we are shoulder to shoulder, 3 and 4 deep. That won't be happening. In general terms, are we pushed? Yeah, Parc Fermé and Podium normally is very hard to get a spot, especially on the fence at Parc Fermé. And at the start, we often have platforms where we're allowed to stand, but the major agencies take a sticker up on the Saturday, and so you'll have Getty put their sticker in the best spot. Second best spot might be DPPI, and then LAT, and all the different agencies, the main ones, because they have the biggest audience, and Getty is the biggest by far. Almost every newspaper in the world will carry their pictures. So they obviously have the best spot and the best photographers. Often I wouldn't be able to get a spot up on a small platform. Some of the larger ones, yes, but see, in Melbourne, there's quite a high platform on the exit or the entrance of Turn 2. But the drama with that is you only get 30 photographers, and if you get anywhere left of centre of that platform, you get a terrible shot because there's something in the way. It does help if you have the biggest audience, but certainly... most tracks you can find a spot to shoot where you're pretty much on your own. And I like to go where there aren't too many other people because I'll get a different shot, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Sean Maple. I like Will Buxton and Ted's Passion. Do you have any good stories on them? Will Buxton has been very good for me. I'll often contact him even now where I need some information, and he's always been very good to me. Ted, I did catch up with him on a train once in Tokyo. We were going from Tokyo to Suzuka. We had a little chat there, and I see him in the media centre. I really like Ted, and recently he liked my interview I did with Roman Grosjean and mentioned it on Ted's notebook, and I had lots of people comment there, so it's obviously well watched, and he's highly respected and a very calm sort of guy. He's not a crazy way out guy. I think Will's more animated than Ted, but I have a lot of time for both of them, and I know they're highly regarded in the land of England and Britain and the UK. What have I got here? Do I think it would be good, said EC Challengers, for the sport if there were some female drivers, and what do you think about young drivers, and could they get younger? Yeah, they could get younger, I'm sure. Female drivers, yeah, that'd be great. And I think that would be a marketer's dream, because even if they weren't the best driver in the field, because they're female and they're probably one of 20, they're the minority, they are going to get more than their fair share of attention. So they'll get more than their 5%, which you'd think if everyone's to get the same percentage, yeah, everyone will get 5%. So yeah, I would like to see a female driver in F1, but at the moment it looks something that's way off. Andrew Storm, do you talk to other photographers while around the track? Yep. Not all of them, because I don't know all of them, but certainly most of the full-timers, the permanent accredited photographers, I know, and we'll stop and chat. It's not like you can sit around for hours. Often we'll talk in the paddock where we're waiting for drivers, because that can often be half an hour of nothing, and you'll spend a couple of minutes chatting. And there's a network of guys that we don't have arrangements, but often we'll share information. Someone will say, oh, there's some, and Hassan Bradic is a great example. I did a video on some of his crash pictures because he's pretty bloody good at them. He'll often say, oh, you want this one, Kim, this one's for you, and I'll look around, I'll be a beautifully dressed woman for women of the paddock. And then and I appreciate that, because I can't see everything, and oftentimes I'll return the favour for him. So yeah, look, in general, they're a pretty good bunch of guys. There's a bit of politics, I'm sure, in every sport, and F1's not that any different there. But yeah, I love it, and the fact that some of the guys have taken me under their wing, and they've really shown me how to be a better photographer. And of course, you're never perfect, you're never going to be the very best, but you just keep trying. Rightio. John Titus. As a retiring pro photographer, I always wished I'd been an F1 photographer followed by a Playboy photographer. Wouldn't it be great if you'd be both? Look, I'm loving the opportunity I've managed to find myself in. It is a real thrill to be very close to the cars. It's a lot of travel. It can be quite tiring. And some days, not very rewarding at all. And I mentioned in the video I did with Tomo F1 that sometimes I think, what am I wasting my time doing this for? That was a horrible day. I could be doing something far more enjoyable. But normally that's very quick to get over. Lee Thompson from the USA again in lovely Seattle. Hello, Lee. Now, is Lee a male or a female, Tyler? I can't tell. What track has the best food? Now, this is a great question. I'm going to have to tax my memory now. It's not Monaco. It's not Melbourne. Melbourne probably has the worst. Few rolls. China is okay. It'd have to be the Red Bull Ring in Austria, because they have a lovely canteen where they serve 3 meals a day, and it's proper catered food. Hot meals at night. Great lunches. Obviously no alcohol. No alcohol, Lee. But they sometimes serve alcohol in the Heineken bar. Mexico has a little restaurant as well. Do you want to turn your phone off? Thanks. But yeah, what we don't like is having to go a long way for food. For instance, in Bahrain, our media centre is on the left-hand side of the track, and to get to where we eat, for a better word, the canteen, you have to go underneath the track and come out the other side, and that would be a good 5-minute walk. Now, 5 minutes doesn't sound long, but you just get no time in F1 because it's such a busy day. You really need to be at all times ready to take a photograph, and you can't when you've spent 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back. So in answer to your question, I'm going to say Red Bull Ring. Thank you, Lee. Do weddings? Oh, Rob, that's a curse. I would hate to do a wedding. Tyler did one once.
I've done a couple. Yeah, I did a
What did you think?
I did a really good fun one for a Singaporean couple. They were excellent fun, and I had a great time. Other than that, they're not that exciting, are they?
Oh, I think that'd be horrid. No, just horrid.
They're not very exciting.
No, so the answer is no, and I can't see me ever doing one. Vegemite sausages, Rob Graham? Vegemite sausages. I love Vegemite. Shouldn't eat sausages, but I like them. Hey, can I have these comments back here because I can't read them over there?
Okay.
Please. How long have we been going here? Well, we started way
minutes.
late. Yeah. Jump onto Super Chat if you want to jump the queue. Alrighty-o. Are you keeping an eye out for good questions too?
I am.
What is your funniest moment with the driver in F1? I remember, I don't know why I did this one day, but Lando was coming in and I took some photos. I looked down my camera and then he got quite close as he walked past. I said, "Oh, hello, Mr. Norris." I thought, I'm 58. I'm calling this 20-year-old kid Mr. Norris, which was quite funny at the moment.
From Jerome. Are you looking at the same thing?
Yeah.
Is that something I don't understand?
Oh, I know. That's because of my story from Monaco. Yes, Jerome says your birthday must be coming up soon. No chance someone steals your cake from the fridge this time. Cheers from Amsterdam, which is a funny story that we were on that boat. You're with me? Were you with me?
Are you sure it wasn't Mum?
No.
Yes.
You were there.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking
we
about
were staying
now. Yes.
For the 2018 GP. We were staying on a boat, which is the best way to see the Monaco GP. If you can scrape together the dollars, it's the most spectacular thing. But of course, if you were doing it, you get far better value because you'd be on there all day, eating and drinking all day, instead of us, where we leave at about 7 a.m. and get back at 7 p.m. But yeah, it's quite spectacular. So I've got this cake delivered to me by a lovely client and dropped it off and said, all right, we'll put that in the fridge. So was it the next day? And we must have eaten some of it, did we? No, I can't remember. Anyway, so we said, can you bring the cake out? And then when the captain comes out, or one of the staff says, oh, we haven't got it anymore. What happened? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, they were just telling lies left, right and centre, and in the end we could get these conflicting stories, but my cake never got returned to me. And we're with Big Tony. That's right, lovely Tony.
Yes, he was very funny.
I will miss... Go on.
No, you go.
I will miss Seb, Rob Graham. I like him. I think he's just great to photograph, and as a man, I like him. I think I like him a lot better now than what I would have liked him when he had that multi-21 thing with Mark Webber, which I watched again today from Malaysia. That was horrible for poor Mark, wasn't it? It's a bit of a dastardly trick to pull on your teammate.
What was it? What was this?
Well, Mark was in front and the team said, right, both of you do something with your engines and stay in that order. And one of them did something with his engine, that was Mark. Seb didn't. He kept it on something else and he just raced past him.
Right.
And took the lead, which is...
That's awful.
I know, it's a terrible sort of thing. Rightio, another question about Formula One. How many have we got here?
130.
Rightio, well, all of you 130 need to text your mates and get them onto the feed so that we can get a different set of opinions. And I'm looking for some interesting questions. I often get what's your favourite race? Yeah, that's Monaco. What's your favourite photo? Yeah, it's those two, whatever. So I'm looking for some interesting stuff. Would you ever join an agency or team? No, I wouldn't. I'm a very selfish person, not a very good team player at all. I don't think I'd like shooting for one of the F1 teams. I like shooting. I shoot for a few drivers and I like that because it's a one-on-one thing. And I get quite a bit of variety. But often with the team, if you shoot for a team, which is a great gig because you get guaranteed pay and you know you're going to make a reasonable quid out of it, but it's a completely different workload than what I do. I think I'm more focused, well I know I'm more focused on people and what happens in the paddock, but if I had to go and work for a team, it'd be going shooting people, having drinks up in the lounge or this function here, and while I'm doing that, I'm not shooting what's going on in the paddock. So I think that would be detrimental to what I'm trying to build up here. But thank you for your question.
The Ugly Duckling wants to know what kind of music you enjoy.
Well, lots. Different stuff. Stuff that these guys find. Well, my other son found this lovely piece of classical music called... this one here, I'll play it for you. Yeah, Ylang,
it's not
Ylang.
Classical.
Well, it is.
It's piano music. It's not classical music, but it's...
Yeah. I like dance music. But I like this song.
Do you want me to put it through the speakers?
Which I can play that. Too bad the microphone doesn't go all the way over there.
No.
But I like dance music from the 70s, 80s, 90s. I get excited about certain stuff and I'll play that for a while, and then I'll...
For a while.
5 and 6 times a day, and then I'll get bored
5 or
with
6
that.
times in a row.
What sort of music do you like? That's what I'm interested to know. What sort of music do you like?
Adam wants to know the most famous or the biggest celebrity you've ever shot in the paddock.
I've answered that question before, Adam, and it is David Beckham. Yeah, he's the one I really loved. I just felt, as soon as I saw it was him, I had no idea he was coming. I just saw a big arc of people out the front of one of the garages, and I thought, I'll go and have a look. And someone said, David. And I said, David who? David Beckham. Oh, he's here? So that was lovely. And I remember I was walking backwards as David was walking down pit lane. There was about 4 or 5 photographers, one of whom jumped out and got a selfie with him. And then Nigel, lovely Nigel from Red Bull, big fella, you've probably seen him, he's the garage manager. He just happened to come out of the garage and walk straight over, and he said to me, "Get the shot, Kim, get the shot for me, quick." And I got it for him. But I never got a shot of me with him. I got a lovely shot of Federica Maslin, the Italian Sky TV presenter. She was standing next to him waiting to interview him, and she was smitten, absolutely smitten. And look, to be honest, I was too. I think he's great. Another question.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
And congratulations to those people who have hung around from the start. It's most appreciated that you have nothing better to do than listen to this.
Thank you, Ark.
Dribble. Toto, Hold the Line. I love Toto, the band. Is he talking about the band?
Or Toto Wolff.
Yeah, I like the band, Toto. Yeah, I can play a little bit of Hold the Line on the piano as well.
Okay, I'm trying to find a good one as well.
If closed races, which, if any, photographers get priority? We have no idea yet. I mentioned earlier on in this podcast, broadcast, whatever you call it, live stream, that's it, that I didn't know who is going, if any of us get to go. We'll find out at some point once they announce some races and it's all certain. But you know, once again, if the virus pops up on day 1 of the first day of Austria and 2 or 3 people come down with it, I don't know what's going to happen there. That's going to be a horrid situation.
Cal Horius asked you, now I don't think you're the best person for the question, but that I've seen them ask a number of times what you think that the future of the sport is like in terms of the number of European countries which have put in place bans for combustion vehicles in X amount of years.
Maybe
as in a very long term.
Maybe they'll get an exemption. Well, look, F1 will do what F1 has to do to remain viable, and if it's go down the E route, that's what they'll have to do. There was another question here that I thought was interesting. Yeah, the stock price apparently of Liberty went down when Sebastian Vettel announced his resignation. Well, he's leaving, which was interesting, and I think it was a fair whack. It was in the order of 4%. Who knows? The market is fickle in these tough times here. It's hard to know what will happen. But those big jumps in stock markets like we're seeing now, they can easily go up 4% in a day, but could go up 10 or 20%. You never know. Would you like to have a drive in an F1 car? Yes, of course I would. Or do a hot lap with a driver? Yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
I have done a hot lap in my race car because I had a rally car.
An Evo 9.
Yeah, which was a beast of a car. And I used to race that. But I put that car in the Bathurst 12-hour. Now, the Australian audience will know the Bathurst track. It's legendary. And I did go for a hot lap in my car at Bathurst prior to the start of that event going back in 2008. I remember it vividly because the GFC happened and I'd committed to going in this event, and we'd had some and I had some shocking news and I couldn't concentrate. It's the only time I've ever not been able to eat a meal. I was so distraught and worked up over something in my business. So I don't ever want to go through that again. But in answer to your question, that was it. Do you usually shoot Montreal? I've only been once. It's a heck of a long way to go from here. But this year, there's a funny story there, because I went to Montreal, I did that race, and it was in 2017, and the next one must have been Baku. No, I could be wrong. Anyway, I had a couple of days to kill in New York, so I went to New York, and then I rolled up at the airport to catch Azerbaijan Airlines to Baku for the race, and I was going there a couple of days early, and I get out there, and there's no one at the counter, and I realised that I'm a day late. I missed the flight by a day, and as such, they don't fly every day, so I had to wait till the next day. So I went and spent 24 hours in the Hilton Airport Hotel, which is really a motel, none too flash, and just spent the day watching television. I was in lockdown.
Ellie asked if you've ever tripped over while walking backwards shooting, but I'm going to adapt that question to, have you ever really hurt yourself while shooting?
I haven't tripped over walking backwards, and I'm constantly aware of it because I see TV cameramen often fall over on the bloopers reels. But no, I haven't fallen over. No, I don't think I've hurt myself. I've dropped a camera twice. That's very, very heartbreaking. Smashed one deluxe. I thought it was on my strap, and I got out of the car that takes us around the track, and it wasn't on the strap. It was just sitting in my lap, and of course, it's just fallen straight on the ground. And luckily, because Canon and Nikon both have technicians and stock at the track, I was able to borrow another camera, which got me through that weekend, and then I think I was coming back to Australia, and I could borrow another one from Canon Australia for the next two races. But that is the beauty of shooting with both of those companies, Canon and Nikon. When you go to a world event like an F1, they are there at every race except Brazil, and they will lend you stock and look after you like a king. It's invaluable.
Why are they not in Brazil?
Because they don't want to pay for space in the media centre. Apparently they're charged, and they don't like the idea of that.
Fair enough.
Other questions?
Which is your favourite F1 venue? That's a classic.
Monaco, yeah.
I was asked at 3.
And what is my favourite race? It was the German GP of last year for all of the comings and goings.
Yeah, I'm trying to find...
Your cameras must be insured. Yes, they're insured. They certainly are insured. What's the best place you've found to see photograph drivers off the track? I don't get the question. The Benzoz. What's the best place you've found to see or photograph drivers outside the track? Oh, I don't normally do it. I shot Pierre Gasly in the gym with his permission in Melbourne. I shot Lando a couple of times away from the track. Great shots, which he wanted me to get of him doing a run at 6 a.m. in the morning in Austin last year. Bitterly cold, and he had that great face mask on. And I've shot some stuff of Kimi Räikkönen at the airport. I just happened to be out there when he was heading out of China. Now, hold the phone here. Nathan Buchanan has raced straight to the top of the list because he's worked out that he can super chat and get his question answered. Hey guys, I need some frame shots of yours in my man cave. Your recommendation, which package is best do you think? Photo paper, full res. Right, so he's paying to ask a question about buying stuff off me. You're the man. Depends how big you want them. Because
and where you are.
He's in Australia.
Yes.
You're in Australia, so you can get prints from me up to about, or you can get any size. If you need to buy the digital images, you go to prostarpics.com, you search your driver and or your race, and you find pictures there. And most of them you'll print up to A2, no problem. No, not A1. But if you want anything big, and I'm talking about wall size, as a couple of my clients have taken, you need to get the full high-res shots from me. But if you're asking for suggestions, just go with my great Daniel Ricciardo pick. If you like Daniel coming onto the grid in Germany last year, or if you like Lewis, you get my shot I mentioned earlier on coming out of the tunnel in Monaco. But otherwise, there's enough choice there, Nathan, that you should be able to find something that absolutely gets you excited. A few of them. And if you want to have a chat with me afterwards, you can certainly email me or get in touch with me somehow, and I'll steer you in the right direction. But I'd love to see you take the biggest file and print for your garage a wall with Daniel Ricciardo at that, or any of my high-res shots. I would love to see the end results, and I've had people send them to me before, and they look absolutely smashing. So thank you for your question.
Okay, very quickly, I've seen Nigel ask this a number of times. Have you ever considered an F1 theme for Christmas lights display? I have to ask because I think I've seen him ask it 8 times.
No, okay, I'm not doing Christmas lights anymore because it would have to be at my house in Perth, and
just never there.
No, my sons have that house in Perth for the weekends. We're there during the week, but they have it for the weekends, and I don't think they want to be handling Christmas lights. They weren't as enthusiastic as I was for a number of years.
I've seen also Spyro ask a couple of times, what is a location you would like to see a race at? I'm going to say my answer, which I think is almost impossible. But
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, or I would love to see them drive a car around the Nürburgring.
Oh, they've raced there before.
I would love to see a race.
But not Nürburgring, because that's too long. You'd only get 5 laps or something.
It doesn't matter. I think it'd be interesting.
No, I'd like to see it in Las Vegas, because I love Las Vegas.
Yes,
I think it's a
would be
great
good.
spot. Other places? Perth. Well, wouldn't that be great? I wouldn't have to get on a flight. Somebody says, have I been to India? Yes, I have, Maggie6679. I photographed tigers in Bandar National Park going back some years ago. Very hot. I didn't like the food at the camp that we stayed at, but I loved Mumbai, and I stayed at the Oberoi, and it was one of the best hotel stays I've ever enjoyed. Took my general manager from my company. So in answer to your question, thank you for that. I have been to India and did enjoy it. What else have we picked out here?
Paul.
Do you know Mark Webber at all, Sean? No, I don't. I've seen him, but I've not talked to him. I was actually offered some years ago an opportunity to fly with him. His manager contacted me and said, right, we've got this package. For 50,000 Aussie, you get to fly with Mark to Japan on a private jet. You do the Japanese race with Red Bull, and then you fly with Mark to Korea, and then you do the Red Bull package there, and then they fly you home. But I didn't say yes to that.
Andrew wants to know if we're from north of the river or south.
We're north of the river people.
Very
and
north.
Rarely venture south in Perth.
Almost never. Yeah.
No, there's nothing in going south, except when we go to the Boat Shed, which is a supermarket, an upmarket supermarket.
And there's a very, very pretty spot on the foreshore where you can look at the city. That's about
Kings
it.
Park. Well, that's
No,
George.
not Kings Park.
Where?
If you go south of the river and get off the first exit,
that's
I can't
South
remember what
Perth.
it's called.
That's South Perth.
It's still south
Perth.
of the river.
Yeah. You just the first exit after the
Over the Narrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is South Perth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and someone George Kalis. Is this George Kalis from Kalis Foods? Racing Kings Park, yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful park you've ever seen. It's in Western Australia. It's in Perth, obviously. And it's elevated, and you stand there and look over the city, and to your right is the river, the Swan River. It's quite beautiful. What's next for Vettel? Well, we might find out this week. Could be exciting. Who knows? But definitely, all of these moves are going to have to come about now, because there's a level of urgency that's been created by the fact that we had those announcements of Vettel leaving and the next 2, and then they're just going to come thick and fast. I have no doubt about that. Rajendran. Alonso returning, yeah, I think he's a chance. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about him returning, so I'll want that to happen so I haven't wasted 5 hours of my life.
Chandran wants to know if you have any F1 drivers' numbers on your phone.
I do. Do you want to see them? And they would have mine on their phones too. Oh yeah, we've done that one. Do you read driver F1 biographies? Nicky Lauder's just out. I have not. I don't think I've read any. It's not like I haven't had plenty of time up here in the last number of weeks that we've been stuck in sunny Lancelin. They raced at Las Vegas in Caesars Palace car park, yes. And it was shit. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest they'd be racing in a car park again.
Yeah.
But I actually was... Tyson, do you live in Las Vegas? Because I went out there and did that Speedway thing at Las Vegas Speedway and quite loved it.
Speedway thing?
Yeah, that Las Vegas Speedway, you can drive cars out there. Rightio, here's some more questions that have suddenly popped up. How many people on this feed?
115.
Great.
That's good. That's a good number. Paul wants to know what's the most difficult city to navigate to the track.
Okay, I'm going to have to go through them all one by one. Nothing comes to mind as being particular.
It was
France.
Yes.
Oh, the worst ever 3 and 6 hour up and back trips, but they solved that problem. Thank gosh. What else? Monaco's great. What are you laughing at?
Bree just said, "Hey, you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol Baskin."
You know Carol Baskin, people? Do you know Carol Baskin? She's famous.
Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Okay. Best camera. I'm going to go back to that question. I want to answer that question. The worst track. China. No, if you stay in Shanghai, China's a bit of a hike. In Austria, I stay about an hour away, but it's a nice, easy drive. Germany was great. I stayed in Mannheim. No, I'm just going to have to say what I said. Sometimes Sao Paulo can be nasty, and Mexico. So they're the two that aren't always bad, but can be. Right.
I saw Joe's or Joss or Jose, Jos.
Yeah, Josh Groth.
Yes.
Best camera or lens for landscapes?
Lens. You would be thinking a wide angle lens.
Yeah.
Something nice and wide. Probably a wide prime,
Yeah,
14 mil, something like that. 13
but
mil.
often I'll take photos of Lance on an island here and I'll use a 70 to 200 and I'll shoot a panorama shot. So I get 7 or 8 images and stitch them together. And for that, 70 to 200 is perfect. What about a race around Bathurst? Oh, Bathurst. You wouldn't have an F1 at Bathurst because there's not enough accommodation.
Yeah.
It's stuck out in the middle of nowhere. That would end up being like the Korean race, which was horrendous, I'm told. Not that I ever went there. But they said that the accommodation was atrocious and it was nothing out there and just in a wasteland. Which is the worst or most secretive team garage to photograph? Ferrari can be tricky. If they're hiding something? No, there's not one that stands out.
Ugly Duckling wants to know who would like to see enter as a new team. Do you mean a new team altogether or a new driver?
No, a new team. I don't know.
Does that mean you need a major sponsor?
No, you just need to have a team, like a Works team, perhaps a Porsche. Porsche would be good.
Porsche would be great.
I don't think they've got any interest in that. Look, I'm surprised that there are people willing to invest the enormous sums of money involved in this sport, especially when you get the dramas that we're having now. And I just hope that teams like Haas can pull through and Williams, because it looks like that might be a real challenge for them. Will P. That's not Will Panissi, is it? From... what team is that? From Kimmy's team. Forgotten. Alfa Romeo. Netflix Drive to Survive Series 3. Kim Illman cameos. No. Well, what's the season 3 going to be at the moment? It's a day and a bit in Melbourne. Maybe testing. Did I see them at testing? Yeah, I think I saw them at testing. And then, will they be invited?
If they do get a chance, though, it'll be a hell of a season, don't you think? It'll be very interesting if they can document it accurately.
Yes.
It'll be a very good season to watch.
Your favourite watch? Oh, excuse me.
Watch brand.
Nico.
Favourite watch brand?
I collect watches. I have some Rolexes. I have a Paddock and some other stuff. I like Panerai, but they're heavy, very heavy watches. I'm not a big fan of stuff like the Hublots and the Richard Milles. I know the drivers wear them, but I know they're expensive.
Richard Mille is obscene.
Yeah, as is Hublot's, some of the Hublot top-end stuff. But, yeah, and then you look at the bottom end of the sponsors and Casio on the Toro Rosso boys or the Alpha Tauri boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, do I know Joe Sword? Yeah, not well. I've had a couple of chats with him. I haven't spent a great deal of time talking to him, but well respected, I know that much. Are you looking forward to Austria, says Srian? Yeah, I am, but I just don't know whether we're going to be allowed to shoot, whether we can shoot. It's all up in the air. Favourite scarf, says Jalil. Where are you from, Jalil? What is that name?
Jalil, I can tell you exactly where Jalil's from, because Jalil is in fact one of my subs on Twitch.
Right.
Jalil is a US Marine who is currently living in Japan, which is very interesting.
Genki desu ka? Ohayou gozaimasu.
Yes.
Konnichiwa. Favourite
Answer
scarf.
his question now.
We know you like your scraffs.
Scraps.
He's typed that and hasn't looked. But I know what you meant. My favourite scraff would be... look, I like the bright colours. There's a pink and blue Gucci one I like. And there's the one I had on for the Tomo interview is nice that Tonya got.
The LV,
LV
car brands.
Yeah, looks like a whole lot of...
motorsport brands is what,
Yeah. Have you had ever chance to chat with Bernie? Not chat, but I've talked a little bit, not a lot, with his wife. She's lovely, just lovely, and always smiles for me in the paddock. And I note too that when he walks and when the pair walk together and someone stops to talk to Bernie, Fabiana will often just stand aside and just wait in the wings, as a lot of the girlfriends do, because it's a little bit awkward, I gather. I know she's not a girlfriend, but it's a little bit awkward for the girlfriends and even for trainers when a driver will be walking along with them and then somebody wants to stop for a chat or a selfie or an autograph, and they just, whoever the partner is or the trainer just looks a bit awkward standing there, so they'll just leave and wait for him to finish, and then they'll catch up again for another 5 minutes and then stop again. And yeah, it's a funny thing to watch, that people are so desperate to have that selfie and autograph that they just stop these guys moving about the paddock. And now at a closed race, of course, that won't be an issue for them. And I think that I read somewhere that there won't be any hospitality suites, so I can't wait to see what the hell they're going to be doing if there's nowhere for them to hang out.
It should be fascinating, right?
I think so. That's why I want to be there to document it.
I would like to pose a question to the 120 people here. I have a feed of Kim's activity, so that means how many people have subscribed recently, right in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I have not seen one person subscribe throughout this entire stream. So I'm curious as to if we're all subscribers who are watching and no new people, or if there are new people who just haven't subscribed. That's what I would like to know.
Right, so perhaps we just give everyone 10 seconds to subscribe.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated.
Starting
Driving
now.
A full car, classic on you.
And I just don't distract them.
Okay. Just reading. there's
distract them.
Every chance that it is.
Don't distract them. This must be someone who's not subscribed.
Surely one person.
One? Okay, I'm going to take you at your word, people.
That's
now,
crazy.
there's some interesting questions I see pop up.
Yeah, everyone's already subbed. That's crazy.
And lots of comments coming through. So if you want to jump the queue, because I'm figuring I've answered maybe 3% of these comments. They're just coming thick and fast. Already subscribed, Mike Crook, you champion, says the ugly duckling. Subbed. Chandran subbed.
Right, well,
Axie subbed.
It's also
Rob Graham.
It's good to see some new people in the chat, at least, which is good. People who haven't been typing this whole time.
CZ Scooters. I have a funny story about a scooter. I thought one day I had some houses on the Queensland Gold Coast, and I thought I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I thought I'm going to see how fast I can go around this cul-de-sac, which has paved roads, brick roads. So I've taken off my little scooter and I've gone as fast as I could, and of course I've fallen off and made a right mess, and I've got up and looked around. Oh, nobody saw it, luckily there. Rightio, get back on here to some interesting questions. Do you actually watch the race from the press room or from the stands? No, we don't. No, we don't. We go out and we take photos while the race is on. We're moving about at great speed. Although sometimes I will come back to the media centre and lock my cameras up and take some other cameras out for Parc Ferme or podium. And there have been times when I've stood there for 5 or 6 minutes when I've come back perhaps a little earlier than normal and just watched it on the television. And I quite love that because it's just happening right outside the window. But no, we don't swan around in there. And I think if you did that every race, you wouldn't last very long. Have you talked about Alonso potentially going to Renault? Yes, I have, Henry. Siegenschnitter, eine Deutsche, ich denke. Bist du Deutsch? Or sind Sie Deutsch? I think, or Siegenschnitter. Maybe that's not German. I think he's going to go there. I think we'll find out next week if we're right.
Okay.
See what happens.
Golly, awful voice break. Jill asked a question a little while back about if we did get the chance to drive an F1 car, would you want to drive a classic car or one of the current ones?
No, the fastest one.
Definitely the fastest one.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to go out there and have the frighteners put on you want to have the maximum frighteners put on you. That's what I think.
And there's a very good interview with someone who speaks about they get a chance to drive an F1 car and they try to slam the brakes on as hard as they can, as physically hard as they possibly can, and then they slam it on, their head gets stuck in the cockpit, they can't look up.
By the time he got his head up, he was nearly around the corner, and then the guys back in the garage congratulated him because he managed to do 40% braking. That's way up there. Rob Graham broke his neck on a 50cc bike. Yeah,
50cc?
I had a 50cc, I think it was.
Nothing.
I know. But it's, I think, what you hit. It's the stopping that is the drama. Kim, have you and your son always been close? You guys come across amazingly close, and it's really refreshing.
That's very kind.
We have our arguments.
Very rarely.
Yeah, but not...
Very rarely.
No, he's grown up quite a bit, so thankfully. And the other one you haven't seen, he's in Perth, living the life of Riley at the moment. He's got this rather nice house to himself while we're locked away up here.
Yeah.
Regarding south of the river and the rally sprints, I've done some rally sprints and gymkhana stuff in my race cars in past years. They're quite enjoyable.
Oh, I would love to drive a gymkhana car. That would be awesome. A proper gymkhana car.
Do you follow any specific diet when the season is on? I should. I absolutely should. But I do find that when we're at F1, we walk a long way every day, and often it can be 21, 22 Ks in a day, and I'm not going to the fridge 3 or 4 times an hour. So it's much better that I go for my health to F1 than it is to stay home here.
It's true.
In Lance.
And embarrassingly, he might be fitter than I am, because when I'm trying to keep up with him at the track, it's rather difficult. He's just on it.
Yeah. George W. Tierney. Hello, George. Lovely to have your attention tonight, Australian time. What driver has had the best helmets, excluding Ricciardo?
Because Ricciardo has almost always got the best one.
Oh.
I like Lando's. You're going to say Lando's with...
the cowboy one. The one I shot of his cowboy helmet.
And also with...
Shoes. Yeah, Lando actually puts in a lot of effort on the design side of things. He doesn't just let it go out to somebody else. He's very good. Where the bottle you found? The bottle I found is currently in the Western Australian Maritime Museum. It is the oldest message in a bottle ever found. And Tonya and I and Tyler and his girlfriend and Joe and Grace Ricciardo found it 2.5 years ago, some 30 kilometres up the beach. Amazing story. It's on kimellman.com. Watch it. It is great.
I don't want to take credit, but if I hadn't almost rolled the Jeep down the side of a dune, we probably wouldn't have found it.
Yeah, well, a lot of things had to go right for us to find it. Now, if you want to jump the queue here and get your question in, I'm more than happy for you to do so. Get onto Super Chat. We'll go for another 15 minutes or so, and then I think that will be enough for you because you've probably got better things to do. There's been a few Australians here, so there's a couple of people who are up at night. If you're in Sydney, it's well after midnight. Yeah, it's well after midnight. And if you're in America, you're just starting out your day. Would you take up an offer to photograph Ricardo on his farm during this lockdown?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would, but it's probably not going to happen, I don't think, at this stage. What is Lance Stroll like off track? Look, I rarely see Lance. I did get the most beautiful photos of him after the German GP when he managed to nearly get a podium, ended up fourth, and I got him out of the back of the FIA garage after the race, and he was buoyant, absolutely pumped. And that's the sort of stuff I really love to capture, and I just loved it that he was on fire, because don't normally see him like that. Normally he's pretty quiet, just gets around, does the business. But nice to see that side of him. Message from Schiedam in Netherlands near Rotterdam. That's where the bottle came from. We got that bottle here? No. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we do. I think it's up there.
Jeroen.
Do you want me to get it?
I don't think it is.
It's just there.
You go and get it. I don't think it is. But yes, Jeroen Bonds, Schiedam, I think that's how you pronounce it, was the place that this bottle came from. No, it's not there. It's downstairs. But yeah, quite fascinating. We did a whole lot of research on our own, off our own bat, to find out where that bottle came from and was it legit. And then we got the museum involved. Right, Joe Davey, are you thinking about future Kim evenings this year at tracks? Well, I'm probably not, because I think it's just too up in the air. I'd rather do the one-on-ones. I'm doing one tomorrow morning, actually. Two tomorrow morning, where we do them online. So at this stage, I think it's too risky to dick people around if it doesn't go ahead for one reason or another. It is almost one in Victoria, says CZ Scooters. It is. It is. Mr. Andrews is doing all right for you over there, looking after you, as our bloke is here, doing well. Right, any other questions? Kim, if you come to Suzuka this year, can we go a meet-up? Also, Tyler, Suzuka. We were there last year and we stayed in, what was that town? It was about 30 minutes away. And it was a nice hotel. I can't remember. Yokkaichi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but boy, renting a car's a pain in the arse there. Absolute pain in the arse.
Not last year, but the year before, we were due to get to Suzuka on the Thursday morning and start the day then, but we missed a few train connections and ended up there a few hours late, which was a very enjoyable...
Repeated mistakes on the train. Twice we got off at the wrong station, and then we caught the wrong line.
And ended up in the middle of nowhere, in a tin sitting area was the train station. It was a bench with a tin roof. And
with all of our luggage and camera gear.
And then it started raining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Thomas Hill, would I like a Miami Grand Prix? Yes, I would. Although I'd like it not to be a standalone race where we just have to go from Perth to Miami. I have to stay over there because that's a hell of a hike. That's like Canada. And I don't think that they would have the two American races back to back, because that would just, I guess, not be good sponsor-wise, or for spectators, they want them separated. But yeah, it sounds like an interesting place, and I know there's lots of excitement in Miami. Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think I've only spent one night there at an airport motel many years ago underneath the flight path, and I was none too impressed. Right. Did you get the hot tip on Dan moving to McLaren? I did, Raiders. I did. I got it from two reliable sources well before it was announced, so that was nice. It gave me an opportunity to plan. Would you like a race in Belgium? Yeah. I just don't like the accommodation we get in Belgium. It's always tricky. very expensive hotels, not many of them. Although if it's behind closed doors, you've got to think that the hotel rates won't be quite as savage because there won't be 100,000 people trying to get accommodation. There might only be 3. But once again, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. There's lots of bullshit flying about, and here's a suggested itinerary. But until they come out with it, until they actually get a couple of races going, it's going to be interesting. We just have to wait. Rob Graham, favourite beer? Don't have one. Don't drink it. Thank you for asking. What is your favourite track to stay at over the weekend? I love, not the track, the city. I like Singapore because it's such a great city and you can get around quickly and there's entertainment and great food. And the hotel I stay at in Brazil is one of the best. So I always love going back to this sanctuary of this hotel, and a lot of the teams and drivers stay there. So you get to chat with people about F1, which is nice. Just by virtue of the fact that I travel with the circus means that you get to know people and they see you a lot, and eventually they'll stop and chat because they know that you take photos of them, and some of them are interested, which is nice. Does camera gear ever get stolen at races, Nemo? It does, and I can tell you in Hungary, 2 lenses were taken from the media centre. In Italy, before my time, somebody had a 600mm stolen, and they're probably $7,000 or $8,000 US.
That's a big hit.
And one of my good friends had their entire locker of cameras stolen at the French GP. It was the French GP, yeah. And it was very sad because he dropped his key on the ground and went home that night and didn't realise he'd dropped his key. So when he got back the next morning, he's gone to open up the locker. I've lost my key. So he's gone and got a spare key, opened up the locker, completely empty, including the key to his second locker. And they'd taken all but a 5D. Now, a Canon 5D camera is significantly cheaper than a 1DX Mark III. So he reckons that the people who swiped it
knew what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very sad. And I have had one thing taken. I've had a mouse stolen. So I think if that's the worst that's happened, I've done all right. I priced air, hotel and tickets for 2 in Spa from Toronto. It was about 8,000, yeah. Yep. But the track is great. It's a really lovely track. And the paddock is interesting because it's on 2 separate levels and there are so many good angles to shoot from.
Alex wants to know how many Adelaide GPs you went to.
I saw that, Alex Smith. Adelaide race was certainly... I loved the atmosphere in town in Adelaide. I went to, I think, at least 2, maybe 3. I'm thinking atmosphere in the top end of Rundle Street, Rundle Road, whatever it was just amazing. But I don't think the track was as well set up, and it was certainly a lot longer ago than Melbourne. I think Melbourne has it over Adelaide in that respect. But I went as a punter and just went and booked some corporate stuff and had a nice time. So it was completely different to what I've done in Melbourne. But thank you for your question. Peter, ever been robbed or pockets pinched? Have I ever been robbed? No, I have not been robbed.
We have had a few people try break into the house before.
No, I think he's talking about while I'm...
at the track.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think I've even had an incident. I am acutely aware that in Italy you have to be very aware at the end of the race, because if you're out and you're taking podium shots, you're out with the crowd on the track, and you have to be very careful, because I've heard stories of locals using scissors to cut your camera straps and taking your cameras. But no, I'm thankful to have not succumbed to anything like that. Have you found a funny question?
Yeah, Joe says your scarf is off centre.
Oh, yeah. Somebody watched the end of my video, didn't you? Which, when I watched it back, I couldn't help but think Alan Partridge. Now, I'd be interested to know if, A, you watched the end of my last video, and B, if you felt that was a bit Alan Partridge-ish. late the stream, have you spoken about the picture books? I have, Raymond. I have, and they will be available in 7 to 10 days. I'm just waiting for some more of the books to arrive here, but they are custom designed, so it might be that every book is actually different to every other one. But certainly I will be producing 19 books straight away, none for Nicholas Latifi because I just don't have enough photos of Nicholas. And you'll be able to order them online, and as I get better photos, I'll replace other ones, and the books will constantly evolve. And as I mentioned earlier on, I will also do race-by-race photo books. And if you're wondering about money, it'll be about 90 Aussie dollars plus postage, quality print, and unique. 20 to 20, no, but at least 20, no, it'll be 25 photos. 8 by 8 inches. So they're not huge books. They're not things that are going to take you years to read, but they are lovely quality print, and you can have a limited edition. Effectively, there might only be 4 ever of, I don't know, Nicholas Latifi if I don't get any more photos. But thank you for asking.
Jerome wants to know what the weather is like here in Perth,
Lance. We've
moment.
had 5 spectacular days in a row. Normally it's pretty windy, and we've got some great conditions out here on the water. Somebody asked something here. What are my next 5 videos about and when? Please say my name.
Axie
Burmick? Axie, my next 5 videos. I think I'm going to do one on Fernando tomorrow. I'm going to do one on what a driver's day looks like when he goes to the track. What does he actually do? Things like, what will he have for lunch? How does that work? So I think that'll be interesting. Yes, says Joe Davey. I did, not Alan Partridge at all. Okay. So thank you. You've got half of the equation there. How did COVID-19 affect your F1 career? Well, it's caused me to have, like everybody else, no certainty of what's happening in our lives. We're all treading water furiously now, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Would you consider shooting at Indy 500? I'd love to, Paul Guzman. I'd love to do that, but
That's
the round thing.
The round thing. There's one today, I think. There's an electronic Indy 500.
Yeah.
What was it last night? I was watching a few people streaming, practicing for it.
Right.
Sasha, someone, and another Veloce person. Yeah.
I would love to go there, but when is it on? Does it clash with F1? I wouldn't think I'd be able to be accredited. But hey, I've not asked, so perhaps I'm just being closed-minded. Did you ever go to the Malaysian GP? Yes, I went the first year I started shooting. Did you miss that? Do you miss that race? Because I sure do. Also, would you like to go to Indy? Oh, yeah, we've had that. I thought it was bloody hot work, but there was a great shot, a stunning shot. And I look at my good friend Clive Mason's photo of a car coming over a crest with a lot of spray coming out the back, and behind it is just beautiful green jungle. And I know the spot to stand, and I went there, but I never had rain, so I would love to go back and shoot that. That would be a dream. But just very hard work, hot, and I do love the comment that Kimi Räikkönen made once when he said, someone asked him, what do you think of Malaysia? And he said, well, we see the hotel, airport hotel, and we see the track. So which part of that do you want me to answer? Did Tyler learn graphic design through self-teaching? No, he's learnt it through my office at
working
Messages
for
on
him.
Hold.
That's how I learnt it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have some of the best graphic designers you've ever come across.
Very talented people.
Yep, a couple of Colombians who are quite magnificent, and a young fella called Christian Jones, who's a great graphic designer, but legally blind. So go figure that. And he gets very close to the screen to work, but yeah, he's a talented guy.
Yeah. So,
Arcadia. Does he have his own live stream? He should have his own live stream. He's absolutely prolific on my.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. As is Arun and Jalil and Drusith and all the regulars.
Drusith, yeah, past comment today about him. Yes. Now, I've got this question. Don't you find it interesting that F1's official YouTube is posting so much Fernando content? Yes, two people have pointed that out to me earlier today in separate messages. I wonder, have you shot at Pike Peak? No, I've seen a video of it. Were you shooting when Jules drove? No, only 3 years I've done it. So, yeah. Rob's still up in Victoria at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. exactly. Here he is. Jesus, Lax, well, you bloody nearly missed out, mate. I found this new service. It's called Super Chat. Ever heard of it? I also heard that it bumps your question to the front. Can you confirm this? It does, Laxweet, and it also puts your comment into this green box, which is a bit like wearing Christmas lights at a pub. Like, you bang, look at me, look at me, look at me. But Laxweet is a very ardent supporter of my YouTube channel, and I think we are very thankful for that. So Tuck, is Tuck how you say thank you in Swedish, or is
I have no idea.
Yeah, that is. Laxweet, yes. Because he spent 50 kronas, I've just realised that this little thing at the top here shows how long his comment stays in there.
Yeah, and it keeps in
So
there.
we could just say Laxweet, and just give him his money's worth. Because he is a bit like me, just crying out for attention, I think. He likes to be talked about. Art Keedy has acknowledged him as well, and I'm sure other people will acknowledge him. Here's Alex Sparks, who's saying hello to Kim, K-I-M. Is there a K-I-M in the feed anywhere? Let's see. Don't know, I haven't seen it. Hey, Kim, thanks for your efforts. It's appreciated. Andre Gopichan, tell your son to enjoy his hair. You tell him. You tell him. Yeah, because it's not going to be there forever.
No, it's all falling out and going grey already. So I saw someone earlier ask if I was going to get your hairline, and I didn't want to answer because I already am.
Yeah. Thomas Hill enjoyed my Tomo video. It was great to learn about your business ventures. Yeah, I'm surprised he asked about that. I don't think I've ever been asked about that before. So, yeah, nice to get a plug-in for Messages on Hold and Canity.com. Favourite airline to fly to races? I used to do lots and lots with Emirates. And then I did more and more with Qatar last year. I like Emirates lounges in Dubai. They are unbeatable. And I like the Qatar service. I like getting on Qantas, but I just think their product is ordinary at the moment. It lags behind some others. Tuck, yes, says Laxweet. Tuck.
I think we need to get some mic stands.
Is that what someone said?
No. Yes. Someone said you must invest in mic stands.
Well, no, we just need to get these radio mics working, which I've got,
true.
which we're too lazy to have actually got working. Kim Partridge, thank you, George. Autocorrect, apologies, Kim. No, Alex, I was just having some fun with you, Alex Sparks, apparently. Would you like a race in Scotland, Wales, or Ireland? No. Maybe Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. Wales doesn't appeal. I've been to Ireland once. I went to Belfast. That was pretty interesting. Would you ever let a fan experience what you do during... How could I do that?
Yeah, I've seen Julie Larset a couple of times. It's almost impossible to do that because
you can't do it. You can't get accredited.
It's you have to. It's a very extensive accreditation.
Yeah, it's system. Not like we can just bring all our mates along.
Yeah,
but I imagine a lot of people would like to do it. I certainly like doing it, and I could see why others would enjoy it. But no, it's not like you can just drag people along willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think Axie wants there? We've said his name before. Does that mean do you like pizza?
Like pizza?
Is that Dutch?
Guess.
That's Dutch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love pizza. I shouldn't eat it, but I love it. Who doesn't love pizza? Good
so
pizza.
True.
And in WA, Mac Daddy's is very good, very big pizzas.
Classic
monstrous.
New York style pizza.
Laxweet was so late to this stream, even if I knew it was coming, I was very busy spending Swedish tax money. Are they throwing money about, are they, Laxweet, at the moment, to get you over the COVID drama? What? That's been quite an inconvenience, COVID, hasn't it?
You reckon?
Yeah. Have you been in the Singapore lounge? Yeah, I've been in Singapore Airlines lounge, which I thought was ordinary. Qantas's was nice. Have I been to Emirates? No, I can't think. A few others as well up there. With the mic stand, Kim. What's ICWDT? No, whatever.
Well, I have no idea.
How do you settle food refreshments during a race weekend? You just shove down whatever you can find and down your throat and get back out there and do it. Sometimes we go for in the European races when they have Ferrari and Mercedes have their hospitality suites, we can go and have a meal there. And that's lovely because it's in the paddock. You don't have to really spend too much time toing and froing, so that's nice. And we always appreciate that, and I quite like the guys at Ferrari. They do look after me. In fact, one night I left a 600mm lens there, and I went home and back to the hotel, and the next day I come to the track and I said, I'll go and have breakfast at Ferrari. I had no idea I'd left my lens there. And I walked in and I sat down and I had some yogurt, and this guy said, is this yours? And I said, oh yeah, I didn't even know I left it there. So that was nice.
It's lucky.
Very. Could we have a women driver? No, I don't think you'll have a woman driver at Renault. Do you think so?
It'd be
Do you
nice,
honestly
though.
think?
Wouldn't it be great?
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Neither do I, but I think it would be great.
It'd be great, but I don't think it's going to happen.
There's only one person it could be, and my understanding is she's rather low down in the ranks. For
Tatiana and the girl from... I photographed her. The girl from Williams, her name will come to me, but yeah, both. Tatiana is absolutely delightful. I did one of those close-up eye shots of her, but it's probably one of the second ones I tried and it wasn't quite right. But yeah, I got a lot of time for her, and she's lovely in the paddock. Stops like everyone. I guess when you're on the way up, you're nice to everyone because you don't know who's gonna be out there to help you. You might be nice to the right person and they become a sponsor of yours. It just makes good business sense, and it's not hard to be nice to people. Most people. Some people. I often laugh when I see Lewis, when people put their hand around Lewis to get their selfie done, as if, hey, he's my best mate. He just smacks their hand away, and I love that. I love it. I love when Kim starts ranting and Tyler just sits there trying not to laugh when reading the comments. William Kosis. Hello, William.
It does happen. Also, William asked a question a little while ago. Let me very quickly find it.
Jamie Chadwick. Thank you, William. Yes. Yeah, and she was a very elegant speaker, I thought. It was a function I shot for a client. Yep.
Have you ever considered shooting supercars in Bathurst or something like that?
No, I wouldn't go to Bathurst.
I think so.
No, it has no appeal. Just don't like it. I know a lot of... Well, you know what? Actually, no. At Bathurst, no. But I might, if I'm still stuck here with nothing to do, go and shoot the WA supercars at Barbagallo Raceway.
When is that?
I don't know. If they run it, I don't know. Did you ever run into issues photographing drivers' girlfriends? No. Almost every one of them loves it and are more than accommodating, often posing for lengths of time, and they like to look at the pictures as a rule. No, I've not had a problem with anyone. I do remember vividly Brazil a year and a half ago, and I saw this most beautiful girl sitting outside the Ferrari hospitality suite in the paddock, and I walked up to her and she's seated, and I said, oh, can I get your picture? And she goes, yeah, sure. I said, can we get you standing up out here? So she was standing up out here. Can you find this? Can you get onto Lightroom? And search Villeneuve.
Here you go.
I'll do it. Right, so this is the photo I took, right?
Okay, let me switch.
This is Camille Villeneuve, and she is such a delight. And I took this photo, and then afterwards I said, I better get your name for the caption. She goes, oh, it's Camilla Villeneuve. I said, are you related to Jacques? Yeah. I'm his wife. What? He's 48. She's 24. Sparkling personality, lovely girl. So I put this picture up. Anyway, so someone's made a comment about her nipples being visible, and a few people have chimed in, and then she's chirped back, my nips, my choice or my decision. I thought, right, she's got some real spark about her. So next day I caught up in the paddock again, and we chatted at length. And then I caught up with her a few other times at races. But yeah, she was great. And I remember she said to me that I was the most polite photographer she'd ever come across. And I said, what do the others do? And she said, oh, they just get in the way and are rude. And but you're the only one who's ever asked to take my photo. And then I got chatting with her another time, and she was saying that when she originally got pregnant with her first child with Jacques, because she's got 2 kids, and she's got his other 2 from, I guess, his first marriage, that the press treated her appallingly in Brazil. So that's a story behind Jacques and his lovely wife.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we say goodnight?
Axie is asking us not to delete the stream, and also if you watch any other F1 YouTubers, which I don't believe you do.
No, I don't.
You should, though.
I know.
You really
I should. But then I might be... Oh, I'm sure I'd learn stuff.
You would, and you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just say I watched them all, and that thank you very much. I'll just tell a lie. 2 more questions, and one of them will be a super chat, okay? So if you want to guarantee your question being answered, and whatever you ask shall be answered.
I think Ark is trying to figure out his super chat. There's some problem with, I think, the way he makes his accounts or something, because he couldn't pay on Twitch either or something like that. So he's trying to make another account to do it.
Is he?
That's what he was saying. Do you want your thing back on your screen?
That's,
is that what you were doing?
yeah, I can't read it.
There you go.
Oh, I've got white writing. I've got white background, and you've got...
It's because mine is in Streamlabs. Mine is in the program, which is cool. If you want this mouth.
Yes, Jacques Villeneuve Raiders was dating Danny Minogue. Danny Minogue is Kylie Minogue's sister, and for those of you who don't know Kylie Minogue, she is a well-regarded Australian pop star, has been for many years, and she was on Neighbours. Do you watch the live streams from the younger drivers? No, occasionally. Oh, no, I don't. Tyler reports back to me on them, which is great. He gives me a précis. Where did you get the harp chair behind you? I don't know. Tonya got that. That's a great chair, isn't it? Can you see that?
It's really cool.
If I move away, yeah, you can see that. Laxui, which sock do you put on first? Always the left.
Always the left.
I always put my left leg into my shorts as well. And I'm conscious of it, that I can't do the right. Laxui, are you the same? And also, which way do you put your toilet paper on so that it goes over close to your leg or close to the wall? Which side do you put your toilet paper on?
I'm trying to think how I put my pants on. 'Cause I
always put the left foot in.
I always put my left sock on first. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, I'm an animal.
Yeah, okay. So that's one of the questions. And Noel, you're from Tanzania. I've been there. Huge fan of your content. Do you think the season will start in July, as they say? Yeah, if everything goes to plan, it will. There you go. But I love your country. I went out and spent some time at Serengeti. I've been to the Ngorongoro crater and over to the western side of the country to where are the hippos? The hippos are at...
Not the pools. No, that's
no,
else.
Hippos are in... Starts with K. I loved it. It was stinking hot and lots of flies, awful flies. But great place to shoot hippos. Starts with K. All right, and last question from Art Kedia. Am I in a green box now? No, you are in a blue, which is the cheapest you can get, Arcadia. That's the cheapest one. But listen, you've got our attention as the final question for tonight.
Thank you, Ark.
Yes,
thank you very much.
From Singapore, mad F1 fan, and as far as I can tell, spends all of his time on the computer. Yeah, whenever I'm on here, he's on here.
It's true.
Okay, people. So with that said, I'm going to bid you a fond adieu, and let's look forward to some exciting announcements this week in the world of F1. Let's see Alonso at Renault, and then find out what everyone else is going to do. Yes. But good news, Lando is still driving at McLaren next year.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Au revoir.
And